Hey guys, it's Bryson Carter from the Journey Podcast. I just wanted to take a minute to clear up the fact that we are not professionals, and what you see here is just conversations with people that are a very positive influence on my life, and I hope you guys can take something away from it that can help you on your day-to-day life journey. But if you need legit help, like if you're fighting depression or how you feel about yourself, there are professionals out there that can help you, and we are not professionals. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the podcast, and hopefully you guys can take something away from it that will help you with your day-to-day lives.
Maybe just think, what could I be doing better? What do I think are my strengths?
Yeah.
And just also understand what kind of person do you want to be. And it doesn't have to be like crazy, like deep or anything. It could be simple as in just like, oh, I want to make sure I'm a good friend to this person, or I want to make sure that like I'm doing well in this class.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Journey Podcast, episode number 5. My name is Bryson Carter, and today I will be interviewing the very inspirational Finley Foust. So, how have you been?
Good. I've been good. I mean, the day's just going, but it's a Friday.
It is Friday. Yeah. So your first question I have for you is, how do you stay confident in the high school world? Because, you look around at a lot of people, and you seem to be very confident in yourself. So.
Oh, I appear that way. That's great. I didn't know it appeared that way. I mean, I feel like my freshman and sophomore year, I was a lot more insecure, but I think that also had something to do with the fact that all of my 8th grade year, I was completely remote. So I didn't go to school during that whole time because of COVID, obviously.
Yeah.
So, and I'm a very social person. So not being around that many people kind of made me a little bit socially anxious. When I was just back around so many people. So I definitely didn't use that. And it wasn't it was a lot of people, but also just starting high school. So there's a lot that went into it. So I had to slowly build back up my confidence in talking with people and just being sure of myself. Because I feel like most underclassmen also just feel insecure because high schoolers are judgy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I just stopped caring. I don't know if that's good advice, but I just stopped caring about what other people thought.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that caring about what people think is the number one destroyer of confidence.
Yeah.
And like what you were saying, remote has been tough for our generation because of, you don't see people. Being able to see you being out of your shell, because there's a lot of people I know that are not that way. You seem to be very able to speak your mind and be able to I'm going to take leadership of this thing in class or whatever. So it's cool. What would be your advice to those trying to find confidence right now?
Just be sure of yourself and what you believe. Because if you don't know how you think on something, or you don't know how you would handle a situation, then when it actually happens, you're going to feel insecure. Because you're going to be like, oh, all these other people know what they're doing, but I don't. So just finding yourself in a sense, but that's a tough thing to do. So just slowly building up how you think and you believe, and I think confidence will come with that naturally. If you're sure of yourself, then you'll be confident in what you're doing and you won't really care.
Yeah, absolutely. So how would you, because there's a lot of different ways to do this, but how would you find your true self? Because you have to be able to find out who you are by actually doing something. So how would you figure out who you are?
I feel like everyone has a baseline personality, but also just, I try and be very observant of the other people around me. So if I see that I like this person's trait, or I love the way that my dad does this for my mom, or stuff like that, I try and be open-minded to things like that and then apply that to my own life. Because I love how positive you are. You're always so nice. So then I'm trying to I just recognize that. I'm okay, so maybe I should try and be more like that, or I should try and be more confident in the way I speak. Because you mentioned that apparently I do that, and I learned that from this one girl in my class. She's very bubbly, and as we've been friends for since middle school, and I always liked that about her. So I was okay, I want to try and be that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same thing goes where with bad traits. If I see someone doing that, I'm oh, I don't like that, so I'm gonna try not to do that. So just observing and then learning from that, I feel is very helpful.
Absolutely. Yeah, you learn a little bit from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I appreciate that too, by the way, trying to be trying to be more positive than I was in the past. So, but yeah, there's like the girl that you were talking about. I don't know if we can say her name either. You probably should look that up. But yeah, she is very bubbly, and my sister and her, I try to take after my sister's positivity because she's always been like, there's a light and everything. And so it's like, I got to be more that way. But just learning a little bit from everybody is really helpful. But so according, in CLA, we have a project. And so we have to find a lot of sources. And so this comes from a source. And it's Praise Affects the Praiser, Effects of Ability Focus versus Effort Focused Praise on Motivation by Kayusuke Kakanuma. I try my best with that. And it states that people who endorse the growth mindset tend to have mastery-directed responses to setbacks. Therefore, their environment and performance on a subsequent task are high. How do you overcome setbacks?
Setbacks? I think not viewing them as a negative thing is always positive.
Mm-hmm.
So just understanding that your failures are when you grow the most and just trying to learn from them and understand where things might have went well, where things might have gone a little bit more poorly, and just, trying again. Because I'd say, like, when you're a kid, they always tell you, like, you have to fail 1,000 times before you succeed once. Like,
yeah,
you're always hearing that as a kid.
Yeah.
So I feel like just, like, honestly, that's, like, true. Like, you have to, like, just not get down when you, like, have a setback and just learn from it and then do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been looking for that answer ever since I started this podcast. Carla's like, yes, the setbacks, they help you grow. Like, for instance, and I don't want to share too much information, obviously, because I just failed a math test. And so there's a lot of people with me with this quiz. But it's like, okay, I can either look at this as like my quarter started off bad and it can kind of roller coaster from there. Or it could be like, okay, I still have time. I can make changes that I need to make, learn from what I need to learn from. Failures are a great learning curve. No, you go ahead. This is your interview. Go ahead.
Did you add anyone into that? Because I know, like, the class you're taking right now, it's really tough. And I took, like, a similar class to that last year, and I was, like, struggling. So I'd say one thing about that is not setting, like, your self-worth and identification with things that have, like, academic or even achievement-based, like, value. So it's like, don't put your own confidence in the way you view yourself in tandem with whether or not you pass a test.
Yeah.
Because I really struggled with that last year. And I never really, like I've always had to try in school, but I never, like, had to try, like, the way I had to last year. So I had to, like, learn not to think of myself as, like, stupid and comparing yourself to all these other people just because they're doing better than me. It's like, at the end of the day, in 10 years, when I look back at the class I took, what grade I got in that class won't matter.
Yeah, because you were in there.
Yeah.
You were doing it.
I did it, and I didn't even need to take the class, I don't think, for like, college. I just did it to, like, push myself.
Yeah.
So the fact that I did it is something that you should be, like, proud of yourself. The process is what matters more than the outcome, in my opinion.
Absolutely. So
just not putting your self-worth with things that have, like, value, I think, is important.
Yes.
At the end of the day, it's who you are more than, like, what you...
Absolutely. That was very beautifully put. Yeah, I feel like that, because you were actually a lot smarter than I am. So being in that, it's like, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, I don't think of myself negatively. It's just, I'm not as good at school as some people, which is fine. I have other things that I'm good at. But being in that class for me is like, I'm not going to get the grades you are, but I'm going to outwork you.
Amen.
Everything that you do, I'm going to not necessarily have the same outcome, but it's like the amount of work that you put into it as well. But yeah, the journey is a lot more rewarding than the actual, what you get at the end.
Yeah.
Or at least just as important. How important is it to you for people to look at setbacks in a positive way?
I mean, I feel like it's like a pretty good chunk of importance almost, because it's like, if you don't view that in a positive way, you're just not going to do it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, you're going to give up, or you're just not even going to try. So if you are looking at those setbacks in a complete negative way all the time, you're just not going to get anything done. You're not going to grow. I think no matter what age you are or at what stage in your life itself is all about learning and unlearning things.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You gotta keep growing and also understand and be self-aware of when you yourself might need to unlearn something. Maybe you've been viewing something in a way that isn't most positive, or doing something that maybe you shouldn't be doing, even though you've been doing it all your life.
So like open mindset.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That was not the answer to the question you asked, but I still did it. You asked something different.
I don't know, you guys. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are afraid to. I use the analogy like you have to jump in the water before you can know if you can swim.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people, I know people I've talked to that were like, I don't really want to try anything because if I fail, then, you don't feel good about yourself. You can't, I don't think you can fault yourself for trying, if anything.
Yeah. Trying majority of the battle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And being able to retry, not being afraid to retry.
Mm-hmm. Even if you don't succeed the first time, try again.
Absolutely. And I don't mean to be like, this is what I did, but when I took my private pilot's test the first time, I failed it.
Yeah.
I had like I don't want to say the grade because it wasn't that good, but then going in back to the second time, I think I saw the same person. So it's like, hi, it's me again. Yeah. But being able to overcome that mountain was like a sense of relief. So just being able to retry and just keep going back. And if it doesn't succeed the first time, that doesn't necessarily mean it's over. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's a learning curve.
For sure.
All right, so some dreams, like we were just talking about, are hard to achieve, like being an artist, which I'm not saying that you can't. I think all dreams, I think all dreams are possible if you put your mind to it. And I'm not going to do like what has been talked about before. I feel like like in classes before where people have told you that it's hard and you shouldn't, because I was like, no, you can. But it's possible. But what would you say to those who are about to give up on their dream, who are just like, I just don't see any future in what I want to do?
I think you just need to be honest with yourself and kind of consider how important what you're doing is to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for me, like, I want to be an artist of some kind. So, like, even if everyone's, like, telling me I can't do it, or, like, it's going to be really difficult, it's like, yeah, I know that. I've accepted that. It's like, but I'm still willing to do it because it's, for me, what's important in my life to achieve.
Yeah.
So I think it's just, if you need to take a step back and just kind of, like, look at whatever it is and think to yourself, how important is this to me? Is this something for me personally I need to do no matter what everyone else is saying? Because at the end of the day, it's your life.
Yeah.
Sure. When you're like on your deathbed and you're looking back, are you going to regret like what you did? Like you have to be certain of what you're doing. I feel like there's nothing wrong with contemplating, like don't stick to your guns. Like you kind of have to like think about, everything that you're doing and making sure that it's, really what you want to do. Because then I think if you are actually certain on what you're doing, you will succeed. But if you're uncertain, then it's like, it might not happen because you don't fully want it.
Yeah. What would you say to those people who want, like, they want their dream and they're going to try to go after their dream, but they have people around them who are like negatively impacting that? Like, for instance, parents who want them to do a certain thing. I know you said chase your dreams and be who you are, but for some people, that's hard to do when you have people who are trying to influence you a certain way.
Yeah, I get that, but I mean, my parents are supportive of me, like, doing art, so I haven't necessarily experienced that, but from what I can imagine, if you're convicted in what you're doing, then just don't listen to them. I mean, don't be, like, obstinate, but, like, you can listen to their negative opinions, and you can think on it and try and think, like, logically about it. So you were like, okay, I see your point. I recognize that, but I respectfully disagree. So as long as you can do that, just don't take it personally, which is, again, hard to do.
Yeah.
Because, we're people, we have emotions and everything. So, but just, if you're certain of what you're doing, even those negative opinions won't matter to you as much. But I would say that if your parents are being really negative about something, you also have to understand, like, if they're not going to change their opinions, is this thing you're going after worth the potential damage to your relationship with whoever is putting you down?
Yeah, for sure.
Because they might not be putting you down because they don't believe in you. a lot of the time it's out of fear. People live out of fear all the time and don't even realize it.
Absolutely.
So they could just be trying to protect you.
Yeah.
And it's out of love too, even if it doesn't feel like it. So, just understand that and don't hold resentment against those people if they're just doing it because they care, but still, stand your ground in the sense of if that's what you want to do, do it.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. This is a student-based podcast, or, hopefully other people listen to it, but it's supposed to be like centered on students because that's where we're living right now. I really don't have the right to like speak about adult stuff because I don't really know, but it's trying to be the best student. And I've had times where I was up and down with this, but how would you suggest to be the best student possible? Because obviously you're like, close to the top rank of the school, so you kind of know what you're doing.
Yeah, I guess. So just how to be a better student?
Yeah, just how to like continue to be better.
For me, I never really saw any other like option.
Yeah.
Like I've never been one of those people who like didn't try, because my mom, ever since we were in like kindergarten, always taught us to like push ourselves.
Yeah, same.
Like always like do the best you can, even after that, do better.
Yeah.
So I've always like tried to take like the advanced classes and everything because my parents always told me I could.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to do, especially because until I was in like my junior year or my sophomore year, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I didn't know if I wanted to go into an artistic field or more of like a STEM field.
Yeah.
So, thinking more into the future in my mind, I was like, okay, well, I have to do well because I have to go into college, and it has to be like I have to do well academically to maybe get some sort of like scholarships and to pay for said college. So it's like, I don't know, just to me, it was always important, just like baseline. Like I don't really understand the people who it's not important to. Like I try to get it, but like I just personally, I don't really understand how it cannot be. Because like at our age, you said this podcast is for people our age. At our age, our sole and main responsibility is school.
Yeah.
We don't have a job. Yeah. We don't have a family. So what we're doing right now in school, like that's what our job is.
Yeah.
So just do your best, and like you said, every week there's gonna be up and down. So just try not to put too much pressure on yourself, as in like, oh, I didn't do well on this test, my whole GPA is ruined. It's like more definitely I can say, even though I'm like kind of higher up in the rankings, like I've failed many a test.
Oh yeah.
I've definitely failed many a test, and done well on certain tests, but like I've definitely not done great on all of them. But that doesn't mean that you still can improve.
Yeah.
Like you can get your grade up. You can do whatever you need to do in order to like keep trying as like a student.
Yeah.
There's always teachers, if they're a good teacher, they'll want to see you succeed.
Oh, absolutely.
They'll help you out.
Yeah.
You're not by yourself.
No. And I think that's the first thing to gather into, is that you're not alone in this. I think for me, 9th and 10th grade, I did good. But being completely honest, I feel like I could have done better. Just because I think I was finally getting confidence. And so I was like, look, I actually have friends. And so it was like, I was more focused on the people around me than I was the person that I want to be,
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I saved it at the right time, but I don't feel like I feel like I could have done like better. Like my math grade could have been up a little bit, but it's not like something I can beat myself up for because I got right now, I could do better right now. Recognizing that you have room to improve is the first step too, in my opinion.
There's no point in dwelling in the past.
Yeah, absolutely.
As long as you feel like you learn from it and you recognize it, and you're aware, then thinking about it and being all like down does literally nothing. Like you won't, that doesn't help you.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah.
If anything, it makes it worse.
Yeah, for sure. Because then like you said, your self-confidence goes down. Right?
Yeah. So, this question is coming because I asked you, and I know that makes you a little bit nervous, but I asked you this question a while ago when I actually first started this because I was like, it's just a good question. So I'm going to use it on you.
Okay.
What does your best self look like to you?
Oh, okay. My best self look like to me? Like in the future or just like in general?
Well, I know it changes, but
yeah.
for me, like right now, the best self looks like for me is to keep pushing for my dreams and to not necessarily slack off. Like, I guess just like what are you striving for? The person you're striving for, and you're not gonna hit it every day. You're not gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm because you can't be perfect. But what is your goal for who you want Finley Foust to be?
I think I just try, and this is kind of vague, just do my best. General, like, trying to, if I'm doing something, put my effort into it.
Yeah.
So that within schoolwork, that within like my job, that within the relationships I have with people, just like doing my best to, keep up my my activities and my goals every day. So
Yeah.
I just generally try and be like a nice person to everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't wake up every morning and try and like be like, okay, I'm gonna get this done today, and I'm gonna be this person. As long as like your own personal like, morals and values, I feel like as long as you do your best, then that's all you can ask of yourself. Really.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's all you can do.
Yeah.
And it can go too far the other way where you're like either not trying to become better or you're trying to be too perfect because there's a balance.
So
Yeah. But like for me, I have David Goggins, a wonderful motivation speaker. He was on the School of Greatness, which I mentioned on this podcast before. Great podcast. And he was talking about whenever he dies, he don't want to go up to heaven and God pull out a spreadsheet of stats that he didn't meet and say, this is who you were supposed to be.
Oh.
And to me, I was like, dang, like that's what I'm striving for, is to be my best. I'm not going to, like, every day I go to bed, I'm not going to be like, okay, I did everything that I was supposed to do to be the best person I could be today. But I feel like striving for that every day is like a step forward. Not just...
just overall growth.
Mm-hmm. What advice would you give students who don't know how to work towards their best self?
I'd say that's a good question. Like, maybe just like self-evaluate a little bit. Like, maybe just think, what could I be doing better? What do I think are my strengths?
Yeah.
And just also understand what kind of person do you want to be. And it doesn't have to be like crazy, like deep or anything. It could be simple as in just like, oh, I want to make sure I'm a good friend to this person, or I want to make sure that like I'm doing well in this class. Like, it doesn't have to be like anything super like this to how you want to be for the rest of your life. Just think about the people around you and like observe, like be like, I like this about this person, I like that about that person, and just I think that'll help you understand how you can improve yourself.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And a lot of people don't evaluate, like you said.
Yeah. I think being self-aware is extremely important.
Yeah.
Like, just being aware of yourself. And I've even like gone to my friends or like my family members and been like, is there anything that you think I can improve on?
Yeah. And that's cool.
Well, I've like definitely said that. Like, is there something that like I could be doing better in like our relationship or just like as a person?
Yeah.
And they tell me, and just being very open to constructive criticism.
Oh.
I've definitely had to like, even since like middle school, I've been trying to like improve on that.
Yeah.
I remember doing like a speech in like 6th grade about like constructive criticism. I mean, like, just because I think I used to be really bad about that because everyone's prideful. So like I would get super prideful and be like defensive and be like, no, I'm not like that. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But just being aware, just self-evaluate, take that constructive criticism, but do it in like a way that doesn't make you feel bad about yourself, because you can do it in definitely a positive way.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. And I feel like it can be very scary to look at yourself and be like, dude, like, you're selfish, like you should work on that, or you need to work on being more studious and stuff. Because I know that was like for me, I'm not saying that like it wasn't selfishness, but like when I was younger, like a year or two ago, like I would be like consulted about doing something wrong, and for me it was like, no, I didn't think I did that. And later down the road, I was like, Bryson, dude, like, it's not going to change it. You did something wrong. You did something you need to do. You are something that you need to work on. There's something that you need to work on about yourself, and you got to accept it and kind of look at it through a growth mindset, like you were saying. That's the
one bad trait about yourself doesn't define your whole personality.
No, I mean, you're gonna have multiple that. Yeah.
So it's like, don't like take it fully to heart, like, and like get super sensitive about it.
Yeah.
It's like literally everyone has things they can improve on. So like, if you can recognize that and accept it, then like you will be like leagues ahead of those other people who are just have their like blindfold on.
Yeah. Like positive growth mindset. Literally what this Chris is, yeah.
It was like these questions are targeted.
I don't know if that was purposeful or not. Yeah. So what is your definition of a positive growth mindset? And you might have already covered this, but just to kind of put it in conclusion.
The definition of it?
And it don't have to be like a Webster dictionary, but like your definition.
That's tough. I've never thought about it like that. Like, I try and improve myself, but I think you think of it like more like the way of like a podcast person would, where you like you really try and like expand about it. I think my thoughts are very shallow.
No, definitely not.
But
no.
Yeah, I think kind of like what I said about just being aware to it. So sorry, I'm still going on my words a bit, but
no, you're fine. It's a hard question.
But maybe I should have looked at your little sheet. But yeah, just being aware of it and not viewing it in like a positive way and not trying to be like super hyper negative on yourself.
Yeah,
you're trying to grow, because like once you understand that, it's a personal thing and what other people think about you do what you're doing doesn't matter, then I think you will be able to grow exponentially more. And definitely
absolutely
positive way.
Yeah.
If you're just doing your best in general, then I think you're fine.
Yeah. And I think I was going to say the same, hit the nail on the head. Yeah. I lost my words there as well. But for real, like I've had 5 episodes to think about this, which is why, so I'm kind of just throwing it at you. So you're good.
Yeah.
So this is kind of hypothetical, but this is like a question. I have 2 more questions, actually. This is just like a wrap-up kind of question, because I think it's a staple of how like people view themselves and how they can, like how they think they can improve and like what they want their younger self to know. So if you were to meet a younger Finley, what would be the 3 pieces of advice that you would give her before you never saw her again? And I know this changes, but like at the present moment with experiencing what you've experienced.
I'd say to my younger self to reach out more to people, because I think not just like at the age we're at, but I think at any age it is tough making that phone call to someone or sending that text to try and like make plans. I think people have a hard time doing that, and I've been definitely trying to work on that, as in just, at the end of the day, the people you love should be the people that are most important to you, and like the relationships you build will, when you're old, be the things you cherish the most.
Absolutely.
Not like your job or like anything else, how much money you had. It's more like the people who are with you when you are old and wrinkly. That's what's gonna matter to you.
Yeah.
So just definitely trying to reach out to people, I'd say, is something.
Okay.
Another thing would be probably
That's a good one.
Like, I don't think I'm like a super rebellious kid, but I definitely think I could have been more open-minded to what she said.
Yeah.
Because I think definitely like teenagers they think their parents are stupid and what they're saying, they don't know nothing. But in actuality, they know much more than you. So you don't necessarily have to agree with everything that your mom or your dad says, but just being open to what they're saying and like truly listening and not being dismissive.
Yeah.
Then even if you don't agree, you can maybe shape and form that to something you agree with, or, I think it definitely would have helped me like with some of like the mistakes I made if I just listened to what my mom has said.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely been many moments where it was like later in life, mom's like, see, I was telling you. I was like, yeah, you're right, mom. Should have listened. But
And then maybe a final thing would be, I think something that I'm even trying to like work on now is just be more open-minded and like a little bit less judgmental about things.
yeah.
because I've definitely tried to be more positive within the last year, because I think before I would be a lot like judgier of other people and just more like, oh, I can't believe they're doing that. They're so dumb. Like, I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying to be more understanding of why people do certain things. And even if I don't agree with what they're doing, just try and be empathetic to why they're doing what they're doing. So I'd say just, yeah, be a little bit less judgy, because at the end of the day, like, someone's probably judging you for something you're doing too. So it's like, don't put yourself on like a pedestal, and like understand that you're the same as everyone else. Just like,
Yeah. And that's awesome that you recognize that, because there is a lot of judgment, but being a light is, makes a difference. Yeah. And I've been in the same trap for a while too. Just like, I've caught myself these past couple years where it was like, why are you judging them? I'm like, Bryson, man, you got some things wrong with you too. So,
yeah.
which is why I'm a little bit anti-social media with some things, because it's like I got so much to work on my own life to view other people's fake lives. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, because everybody's got problems.
True.
And I don't think I would, which is why I don't have social media. Being able to like, so for me, I've always been a little bit self-conscious about myself. So before I get, so like the stuff like that, I got to make sure that I'm okay with who I am, and I am okay with who I am a lot more than I used to be, but I have a lot more room to grow. So I'm not saying I'm anti-social media. I'm just saying, like, for me, I don't think I should have it right now when I have so many dreams to chase and so much room to improve before I can know, like, even if they post the most perfect thing and it makes you feel a little bit insecure about yourself, you're not going to be shut down. So
yeah, I think that's a part of like having your own confidence, of even seeing like, oh wow, they did that so well. Just in your brain, you should be like, that's great, I'm really happy for them, rather than just like, oh dang, I need to do better.
yeah, and clapping for them.
Yeah. And I think social media has also made me a lot more skeptical of things. Yeah. Where I'm just like, but did you actually do that? I feel like a lot of people our age are like that, because we know that everything you see is not what's actually true.
Yeah.
I feel like it's good to look deeper into things.
Yeah. And I'm not saying I'm inconfident. I'm just saying, like, being, I don't want to become where I used to be. I building myself up. I don't want to break it back down. So that's why I'm a little bit nervous to get it, because I don't want it to be like that. But
don't be fearful. Be confident in yourself that you can be confident, right?
Yeah. Well, I have Snapchat, but that's a waste of time. Yeah. And I'm not like, I probably should have worded that a little bit differently, because like. So I'm not really necessarily like scared of other people in the way, like, what they have. I think it's necessary. I'm a little bit afraid that if I get social media, it's going to distract me so much, I'm going to lose who I am. And I'm not going to be chasing what I have, because I'm a very focused, center focused. I focus on this, I focus on that. It's not like I don't like to multitask very much, but.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you on that. But even with how much I think growth is important, I also am definitely the kind of person who isn't afraid to just sit down and relax. Like, I do that.
Yeah.
My family grew up, like, my mom grew up very busy, like constantly busy. But like my family, with how my mom has raised us, is like very slow. Like, we take our time on things. So like, even when I'm trying to like grow myself or like get a better grade on this test or like improve my art, it's like I also understand that there's absolutely nothing wrong with just like watching a movie for a little bit, or like I try not to pressure myself to like constantly be doing things. You don't want to be wasting time, but like otherwise you're just gonna stress yourself out too much. You lay down to the bed, you're gonna be exhausted. Even if all the things you did were great, you're tired. So that's a really hard thing to balance. Actually.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
For kids our age, too. They either do relax a little too much, or they stress themselves out way too much. It's hard to find that balance.
Yeah. And I struggle with that. I was so far the other way of, like, not focusing on myself that I went so far the other way. Because I was like, dude, you got to get a handle of this. And so now I'm trying to learn, like, I do this thing every month where it's like a ghost week, where it's like I don't reply to, unless it's an emergency, obviously. But it's like I focus on that week every month on what I can improve, who I was, and who I will become.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's necessarily an effective method, but yeah, like you said, relaxing is very, like, you got to be able to reflect. So,
Yeah, for sure.
well, I appreciate you coming on, but yeah, of course. But I do want to know, how can I help you? Because we're all like, we're all a family. We're all, we're in this together. And I know, like, I don't like the idea of like that group is with that person's with that group. Yeah, it's awful. We're all in this together. So how can I help you become your best, just like you have me?
I think just keep being yourself. Just keep being Bryson, keep showing up, being happy, like being real courteous to everyone. I think, I really appreciate people like you and your sister, and I know other people like in the same similar vein where they're just real happy because, and I really am real positive all the time, and I really respect that because I like, even though I think that's a great thing, I personally just can't, I'm not like that. I don't know if I just don't have enough energy in my soul. Not me, but I definitely think that's you're a really important person to have in someone's life for sure.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, of course, just because I think so many people now are so like pessimistic and so like down all the time that having those people is just, you bring everyone else up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, just keep doing what you're doing.
Well, I appreciate that. And I wouldn't be doing that without other people in my life too. And you're more positive than you think you are. I mean, I
don't think I'm negative. I just I don't think like I'm like how you are. I don't think that's a bad thing. I just think everyone's different. So if I need to be a little bit more like, I don't know, like, I'm not that self-aware, but like a little more chill, like a little bit more like relaxed about certain things, I think that's fine,
And no, you are. I think it comes different with everybody, because for me, I'm over the top. Like, I am happy all the time. I try to be. I'm not. I put on the front, and it's okay to say you're tired. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
My mom, she's like, when are you never not tired? And I'm doing my best. I can't. I'm a tired person, a low energy person. I've accepted that about myself. I'm not like that all the time, but I'm like that a lot of the time. So just, I recognize that.
Yeah. You got to be able to speak about your emotions too, which I'm working on, because, it's like trying to be so positive all the time. You got to be able to step back and be like, no, this is not a positive moment. It's
not everything can be a good time.
No,
yeah, sure.
Well, thank you very much for coming on. I'm gonna wrap it up real quick, and I'm gonna bring you all the quote of the week, which is, confidence is not a belief in success; it's a comfort with failure. That's Mark Manson. Just remember, guys, to beat yourself and to be yourself. I'll see you guys next time.